Miniaturization has been the key that has allowed technology to evolve over the last couple of years. Some products are too early for their time, and we're pushing the boundaries of thin and light has become a challenge that requires sacrifice. Still, how else would the world evolve without these products, and how would you know any better without them? I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is our full review of the world's thinnest Oppo R5. The story behind the Oppo R5 is actually of more than just a thin smartphone. Surely it is one of the world's thinnest, if not the thinnest, by the time of this video, but there is a lot more technology sandwiched here than just insane dimensions on a spec sheet. To start with the obvious, yes, this phone is crazy thin at 4.85mm, which is already 2mm thinner than the iPhone 6, except for the camera hump obviously. But what's amazing here is that it feels incredibly premium in the hand. The glass and aluminum finish, the polished chamfers, and the cool element face shifting design to avoid overheating in such a thin profile all add up to one of the best in-hand feel experiences that I've personally ever had. Add the folio case included in the box to the mix and things only get better. The spec sheet includes a gorgeous 5.2-inch 1080p AMOLED display, and even if you can barely see it, there is a factory-placed screen protector over it, so keep that in mind in case you notice scratches eventually. Just remove the screen protector. That display is fully available to you as the device brings capacitive navigation buttons, which won't light up by the way because obviously this device is thin. We also get a 2.1 GHz Snapdragon 615 octa-core chip, 2GB of RAM, 16GB of non-expandable storage, and a 2000 mAh battery that's compatible with Oppo's new rapid charging technology, which is called VOOC. Now, even though the device doesn't feel massive in the hand because of its thinness, that doesn't change the fact that this is a big phone, and that's where software comes to play. ColorOS 2.0.1 is the company's new approach to software, and all this is running on top of Android 4.4.4. On the positive side, this is probably one of the most customizable user experiences I've ever used. From home screen transitions to an online website full of wallpapers and themes, to customizable finger gestures to serve as shortcuts, to even additional gestures to improve one-handed usability, there is a ton of good to praise here. One of the coolest features is that even though you only get 16GB of non-expandable storage, this software update allows better storage management than in previous Oppo devices, and therefore more space for your personal use. Yes, most of these features mentioned are gimmicks, but there are some very useful ones, like the multiple camera modes that you can download, and which even allow you to refocus photos after you take them, like a Litro camera. Really cool. Sadly, on the negative side, this is probably one of the most skeuomorphic user experiences ever, and that wouldn't really matter much if it wouldn't bog down the phone with unreliable performance. So far, the biggest problem with the Oppo R5 is laggy performance every now and then, which will lead to crashes of the ColorOS launcher. If you switch the launcher to options like Google Now, the lag problem is solved. Oppo's choice of Swipe as a stock keyboard will be great news for some of you, but I do notice that it struggles with sensitivity now and then, but that doesn't happen with other keyboards as well. Oppo has promised a software update to fix these bugs, and we'll report back to them on our final written review. When playing games, you will notice some minor heating, but concentrated at the top of the device and not really affecting your user experience with it. Games don't seem affected by the performance issues, but with only 16GB of non-expandable storage, it's not like if you can really install many of them, or at least not the big ones. Battery life is comparable to that of an iPhone, or better sometimes. I've gotten a good 12 hours of frequent use, and given the fact that you can recharge this phone in less than an hour with the VOOC rapid charger, the experience is actually good enough to be pleasant. You'll also like this device for phone calls. The earpiece is powerful enough to serve as a device's speaker, and it can get very loud when you need it to be. And have it be front-firing makes a lot of sense in the end. Callers on the other end had no complaints, and we didn't either. The biggest challenge you'll face in this department is the lack of a headphone jack. You're obviously given options to use Bluetooth for audio, and there is a headphone to micro USB adapter included, which is fine, but the added hassle of not supporting a standard can lead to some cumbersome experience if you forgot the adapter in your car or you lose it, since it's not easy to find one of these. Again, it'll all depend on your needs and your mileage may vary. In my case, I wasn't really affected because I like Bluetooth audio. Yes, I'm not an audiophile. Photography on the Oppo R5 is both hit or miss. The device sports a 13-megapixel Sony Exmor RBSI sensor in addition to a 5-megapixel 80-degree wide front camera with 2.0 aperture in both sensors. It also includes a bevy of shooting modes here, and these range from full manual mode to even refocus options through software. Other options like Super Macro have made me fall in love with this camera, but not all photos are what I'd call amazing. Photos are very good during the day, and the camera is very good to adapt to lighting when you focus it. Night photos are also surprisingly good, but you do need to have a good hand for those to come out right. HDR mode can be overbearing and leaving photos without contrast in daylight, but it can give you some very good and sharp photos at night. The front-facing camera is good, but you don't really need all these beauty modes, and the resulting photos are probably not as detailed as we'd like them to be. The same can be said about video, where colors are washed out at times, and compared to other competitors, you will get better video from other devices, even though HDR video is actually not that bad. Overall, the best way to conclude this review is by praising Oppo for its efforts. Surely you don't need a phone this thin, but think about it. How else are these jumbo phones going to get comfortable to use if somebody doesn't teach them how? Definitely thinner is the best way to get phones to become bigger, and that's only going to make the experience for everybody better. Once the minor software bugs are polished, this device is really a good companion for the average user in search of elegance and refinement. There is no such thing as the perfect smartphone, but ladies and gentlemen, devices like the Oppo R5 are what words like innovation and revolutionary are all about. I'll tell you this much, I like this phone enough to have it be my daily driver so far, and I'm sure some of you will too. We've got more coverage of the Oppo R5 coming very soon, so make sure you follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You can follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next video.